Hi, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. This is Josie's Point of View, where we focus on human interest stories from the Carolinas and beyond. Today's Thursday, and it's February the 29th, 2024. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new to my channel, I want to thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you find the information here to be informative. And if you're a returning viewer, by all means, thank you for coming back. You know, I always say the tide changes so frequently here on these YouTube streets, so you always have to acknowledge where your support comes from. And I want you to know I sincerely thank you for your support. Feel free to like and to share this video, and don't forget to subscribe. And our story today takes us to Cornelius, North Carolina. Take a look at the headline. And it reads, Missing Since 2022, Help Us Find Madelina Cojocari. I'll provide you with a summary here, and as always, I'll place links to a few of the full articles in the description box. Over the past 2 weeks, we've been struggling to come to grips with the shocking death of two young girls who were reported missing, and within a matter of days, both were found deceased. First, there's 11-year-old Audrey Cunningham, a young girl from Texas whose body was found in a lake after she had been reported missing for approximately 5 days. It was just as shocking to learn that a family friend has now been charged with Audrey's murder. And within the last 72 hours, there was 13-year-old Madeline Soto from Florida. Her body was found in a wooded area just a few days after she too was reported missing, and it's her mother's boyfriend, the only suspect, and the last I heard, he has been charged with this young girl's murder. And our children go missing every day. And here in North Carolina, over 10,000 children are reported missing each year. You know, we don't have accurate statistics on the percentage who are actually located, but we do know that the longer a child stays missing, it decreases the chances that he or she will be found or will be found alive. And most of all, it appears that resources are just not available to keep reminding the public of those out there who've been unaccounted for. I decided to create this video to highlight one of the missing, an 11-year-old girl from North Carolina who we seem to have forgotten. The circumstances surrounding her disappearance are confusing to say the least, so I decided to keep her memory alive by sharing this little girl's story with you, my viewing audience. This is 11-year-old Madalina Cojocari. She was last seen leaving her school bus just before 5 p.m. on November 21st, 2022. That's 15 months ago. To date, there are no new leads and lots of confusion regarding her disappearance. The focus has been on her immediate family because their behavior has been quite suspect and confusing as well. And this is a view shared by many, to include the police. As I already mentioned, Madalina was last seen getting off the school bus on November the 21st, 2022. And that was the week prior to Thanksgiving, was the Friday prior to Thanksgiving. Now, the school was becoming increasingly concerned. They were becoming concerned when they did not see her return for several days. So the administrators and the counselors kept calling repeatedly. They were calling on a regular basis, but they never got an answer. And because of that, a school resource officer went to the home on December the 12th to find out what was going on. No one answered the door. The resource officer left a truancy package. So really the school was attempting to follow the law because in our state, it is illegal to keep your children at home unless they're sick. So when they did not see the child, they came looking for the child. Hats off to the school for trying to do their job. So in addition to leaving that truancy package, the school requested to meet with Madalina's mother on December the 15th. Remember, this was December the 12th. There must have been additional communication with the school because it was reported that the mother told the resource officer and the school counselor that she would be bringing Madalina to the school for that meeting on December the 15th. But guess what? Here comes December the 15th. The mother shows up for that meeting, but she shows up alone. And this is when she told the school administrator that she had not seen Madalina since November 22nd. Now she's saying she hadn't seen her since November 22nd. And it was the school administrators who contacted the police. Keep in mind, this is the first time anyone knew that Madalina was missing. So if the mother had not seen her daughter since November 22nd, that means her parent had not laid eyes on her for 23 days, over 3 weeks. And at this point, nobody had bothered to contact the police. And any normal person would be asking a question: why would a mother who is missing her 11-year-old daughter wait for 3 weeks before letting the school administrator know? And the only reason they know is because they had pushed her to come to a meeting. She still had not notified the police. It was the school who, at that point, who contacted the police. And here's a summary of the investigative report. This was obtained by a Freedom of Information request from a local TV station. It says investigators have been unable to verify this claim, that the last confirmed sighting being the moment she exited the school bus. They're still going back to November 21st because they're still not believing what the mother is saying. Court documents obtained by this TV station reveal that Madalina's mother told investigators she last saw her daughter around 10 p.m. on November 23rd when Madalina went to the room to go to bed. You see how the date has changed again. At school, she told them the last time she saw her daughter was on November 22nd. Now she's changed it again, telling investigators the last time she saw her was around 10 p.m. on the 23rd. But it gets even better. Miss Cojocari claims that she and her husband got into an argument that night, and the next morning he drove to his family's home in Michigan, and that's from the arrest warrant. When she then went to check on her daughter at around 11:30 a.m. on the 24th of November, Miss Cojocari claims she found her to be missing. Now, she didn't go check on her daughter till lunchtime the next day. Lunchtime. So what happened when that baby girl, that 11-year-old, woke up in the morning? Didn't fix her breakfast? You didn't call out to her and remind her to clean her room? You didn't make sure you take your shower? What the heck was going on? Was this child raising herself? But nonetheless, she went to check on her daughter around 11:30 a.m. on the 24th of November and found her to be missing. She said that Madalina does not have a phone or any friends or family she could be with, and that a book bag with some of her clothes had gone missing from their family home. But isn't that more reason to contact the police? Or she's setting the stage? She wants everyone to believe, or she wants the investigator to believe, that Madalina left with her husband. But even if she did, won't you call and find out? I just don't get it. And it continues. The arrest warrant states that Ms. Cojocari told investigators she then waited until Mr. Palmatier returned home. We're talking about Christopher Palmatier, who is her husband and who is Madalina's stepfather. So she waited until Mr. Palmatier returned home 2 days later on the evening of November 26th to ask if he knew where Madalina was. Does that make any sense? This is just as crazy as ever. It makes no sense whatsoever. When asked why she didn't report her daughter missing before mid-December, she stated she was worried it might start a conflict between her and Christopher, so she was more concerned with the relationship with Christopher than she was with the safety or the concern about her daughter. She also told investigators that her husband had put the family in danger, but there was no clarification as to what she meant by that statement. And when Christopher Pelletier, the husband and stepfather of Madalina, was interviewed, he told investigators he did not know what happened to Madalina. He said when he returned home from his visit, he inquired as to where she was, and for several weeks after that, he kept asking about her whereabouts. So, the bottom line, neither of them knew where this 11-year-old child was, yet no one bothered to notify the police. And 2 days after the school meeting, both parents were arrested and charged with failing to report the disappearance of a child to law enforcement officials. And even though both adults continue to claim they have no knowledge of the child whereabouts, investigators believe the parents are not telling the truth. They believe the parents know much more than they are saying. Police say they seized 3 cell phones and dozens of other materials from the home, but essentially there was a lot of he say, she say, back and forth between Madeline and her husband, Madeline's mom and her husband Christopher, even while they were locked up. And police soon discovered that they had failed to disclose some very important information. First, let's take a closer look at Madeline's mother. During the investigation, police found that Madalina's mother had taken a trip to the mountains during the time she said Madalina was missing, but she failed to communicate that information to investigators. Now, that was around December the 2nd, somewhere around December the 2nd. And when confronted, the mother said she had gone there looking for Madalina. So the question is this: what would Madalina be doing in the mountains? And the mountains is about 2 hours away from where they live. No answer yet. Police also found a text message from December the 2nd in which Madalina's mother told someone she had Madalina with her. Another question: how is it possible that the mother would say she has the child with her when she told police she had not seen the child since around November 21st or the 22nd, because her date has been, she had been changing the date, but around the 21st to 22nd, she said that was the last time she saw the child. No answers there either. They also found communication between the mother and a distant relative in which the mother was pleading with that relative, a male relative, to help smuggle Madalina and the mother away from the current location and away from Christopher because she needed to get away from a bad relationship. Remember, Christopher is her husband and Madalina's stepfather. I think that's very interesting. And there was one more sighting of a man resembling that distant relative being seen with a girl similar to Madalina somewhere around the 17th or so of December. But that information has not been verified, and that's not all. Police also confirmed that same distant male relative had made numerous phone calls to individuals they believed to be associated with drug trafficking. And one more thing, during a jailhouse conversation between Madalina's mother and her mother, which is the child's grandmother, the mother was heard telling the grandmother two things: that that she believed that Christopher sold her daughter or gave her daughter away for money, and that she had access to a lot of cash, and that is yet to be verified. So let's find out what Christopher Pelletier was saying. And again, Christopher Pelletier is Madeline's stepfather. Now, through his attorney, he verified that he was fully cooperating with police and said he believed that Madalina's mother had hidden her away in the mountains. Now, that assertion has not been substantiated. And by the way, Madalina's grandmother had a different take. She said Christopher had sold Madalina. So you see the back and forth that's going on? But let's go back to Christopher. In a jailhouse call, Christopher was overheard telling his brother and sister-in-law that Madalina's mother had a large amount of cash and he didn't know where she got it from. He also expressed concerns he had about financial matters. And I was wondering if these folks had daytime jobs or nighttime jobs. Did they work? How did they support themselves? I'm wondering because none of that was ever mentioned. And there's this reference to a large amount of cash. I'm just wondering if they were not used to having a lot of money, and that's alleged. I should add, but where did the cash come from? We don't know. Now, Christopher also alleges that he put Madalina's life in danger from a third party when he made her a beneficiary to a 401k he had, and police say that's just sheer nonsense, and I have to agree. And police executed several search warrants, but they spent a lot of time searching the home. They thoroughly searched the home more than once. And you recall I mentioned that the mother told investigators that a bag with her daughter's clothing were missing? Well, it was not. Investigators found that bag in the home. She was caught lying again. Investigators found a door to a secret room leading through the kitchen. That the door had been blocked off by plywood, and Christopher, when confronted, said he was planning on creating a separate apartment in that space. Must have been a pretty big room, but then again, it's not illegal to redesign your home. People do that all the time. You just make it created more space or personal space for himself. And in an earlier search, police were seen digging up the backyard. They found nothing. Investigators conducted a canine search of Diane Cojocari's car. That's the car belonging to Madalina's mother. And the canine alerted to narcotics, some type of narcotics and drugs. And at some point, the mother was charged with narcotic possession. I think that would happen around April the 14th of last year, but those charges were dismissed on July the 6th. So both Diana Cojocari and her husband Christopher Pelmetier, they were both indicted on a felony charge of failing to report a missing child to authorities. It was reported in the news that Christopher was successful in getting his bond reduced from $200,000 to $25,000, and he was able to post that bond. So now he's out on bond until his court date, but he must wear an ankle bracelet, and that's a significant reduction from 200,000 to 25,000. Maybe police has determined in some way that he doesn't know as much as we think he does about his stepdaughter's disappearance, and I have to say allegedly. But things have been quite different for Diana Cojocari, Madalina's mother. Now, she's still in jail 14 months after she was initially arrested. Last week, she had a scheduled appearance to enter a plea on the charge associated with Madalina's disappearance, but she refused to leave the jail cell. According to reports, the judge waited and waited, and her lawyers finally told them that she was not coming. She had decided that she was not going to leave the cell. Now, I don't think that looks good for her. Maybe she just doesn't understand the type of trouble she's really getting herself into. And if she continues to not show up, I'm sure the judge will make decisions in her absence, and she probably won't be pleased with those decisions either. Now, this took place on the 26th of February, and a follow-up court date has not been determined. In the meantime, Madelina Cojocari is still missing, and there are no leads regarding her whereabouts. Despite the inconsistencies in the information obtained from Madelina's mother, investigators believe the last confirmed sighting of this 11-year-old was on the afternoon of November 21st, 2022, when she was captured on camera as she was getting off the school bus. And police believe that the 3-week delay in reporting Madalina as missing, they believe that delay has negatively impacted their search efforts. They believe Diana Cojocari, Madalina's mother, and her husband, Christopher Pelmetier, know more than they're saying. Police only hope right now is that the longer Madalina's mother stays in jail, they hope investigators will be able to convince her in some way to tell the truth about her daughter's disappearance. And that's all I have for you right now. Feel free to leave me a comment below and let me know what you think about this video. And by all means, feel free to like it and to share it. And if you haven't done so already, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel by clicking on that right subscribe button. It's on the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. And if you click on the bell that looks just like this one, that's a notification bell. If you click on that notification bell, you'll be the first to know whenever a new video is uploaded. I thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.